Okay, we're going over that worksheet as review for the test. So, like I said, third period, I already did a bunch of problems for them already, so we'll try to do whatever's left over with you guys, and then they can look at your video, and you can look at their video, and hopefully we'll see what's going on. All right, let's take a look at number 12. Let's do number 12. If you look at it, this is that kind where it's the midpoint formula, but they actually give you the midpoint this time. Let's just review quickly what the midpoint formula is. So the midpoint formula is, it's a midpoint. Now, I talked about this in the other class, so you can look at it online to hear some more of this. But a midpoint is a point, so it must be an ordered pair. Don't write it as just a number. It's an ordered pair. You got two things right here. Well, in order to find the midpoint, what do? You add up the x's and divide it by 2. That's the first part. And then the second part, you add up the y's and divide that by 2. That's the midpoint formula. You need to know that. All right, so if they give you 2 points, you take the points, the x's, you add them up. You add them. Don't subtract. You subtract on the distance formula. Remember that? You subtract, put them in the parentheses, square them. On this one, you add up the x's, you divide by 2, you add up the y's, and you divide it by 2. That's the midpoint. Now, number 12 is a little different. We learned a little shortcut. I'm not going to go through the whole procedure with you. I'll just go through the little shortcut on how to do this. So this is what they do. They say find the coordinates of point E. So find, we'll just shorthand it, point E. Okay, if C is the midpoint, I'll just shorten that, midpoint of AE. Now what they do, they give you a graph. On the test, I'm not going to give you a graph. Okay, I'm just going to give you the points. Everybody understand that? So they give you a graph. You have to look at the graph and decide, where C is and where A is and that kind of thing. So let's just, I'll just list it for you. So A is 1, 2, 3. It's negative 3, 1. And point C. So on the test, I'll actually give you these points. You don't have to look at a graph and then figure out where they are. That's negative 2, negative 1. All right, so here's the question. It says find point E if C is the midpoint of AE. So watch. C is the midpoint. That one right there is the midpoint. All right, so what is A? A is an endpoint, right? And what is E going to be then? It's going to be an endpoint as well, isn't it? So that's going to be an endpoint. Notice what they said. They said C is the midpoint right there. Can't be any more clear than that. C is the midpoint. So this point right here is the midpoint of what? Of line segments AE. So what must A be? A must be an endpoint and E must be an endpoint. Everybody see that? So this is what we're trying to find. We're trying to find that point right there. We don't know what it is. Do you remember what we do? On this one, what'd you do? You added and divided by 2. To do it this way, when they give you the midpoint, you do it the complete opposite. Do you remember what you do? Right. Instead of add and divide, you multiply and subtract. Okay? You multiply and subtract. Write that down in your notes somewhere. Okay? You multiply and subtract. Multiply by what, though? By 2, right. Instead of dividing by 2, we multiply by 2. Okay? So look at this. Take the x part of this, the negative 2. So what do? Multiply by 2, and then subtract something from it. What are we subtracting from it? The other endpoint. Good. The other endpoint. Which one? Was it the negative 3 or the 1? The negative 3. How did you know it's negative 3? Because they're x's, right. Use the first one here, use the first one here. Everybody see that? This is not that hard. Just learn the little method that we're doing. Take this middle one, this midpoint, take the x part of it, multiply it by 2, and then subtract this point right here from it, the other x point. Everybody got that? So there's this midpoint is negative 2, multiply it by 2, and then subtract this number from it. So it's not minus 3. What is it? Minus negative 3. Very good. All right? So let's do this. That's negative 4. What's minus and negative? Positive, plus. So what's negative 4 plus 3? It's negative 1. So that goes right there. That's what the x is. Everybody see that? All right, so I'll even write x equals negative 1. So that was solving for x. Now we got to solve for y. How do I solve for y? Do the exact same thing, except you do it with the y's. That's right. So take the y, which is -1. What do we do? Times it by 2, and then minus what from it? Right, this 1 right here. Everybody see that? It's not hard, is it? Just memorize it. Write it down. So that's -2 minus 1. What's -2 minus 1? It's -3. It's -3. Add a line, change the sign, right? When you add them up, both signs are negative. So that's negative. So what's your answer then? You're trying to find point E. You don't just write x equals y equals. You write it as a what? Ordered pair. That's right. So -1, -3. And that's how you get that answer. It's not that hard. Okay? So again, what do? You take the midpoint. You take the midpoint. Multiply that first x by 2, and then subtract the other x from it. Take the y from that midpoint. Multiply it by 2, subtract the y from it, the other y from the endpoint. All right? That's all there is to it. It's not much to it. Write down the steps. I mean, actually physically, tell yourself, I take the x part of the midpoint, multiply it by 2, take away the x of the endpoint. Take the y of the midpoint, multiply it by 2, take away the y of the endpoint. And then I've got this point right here. Now again, we went through a whole explanation when I first taught this of why that works, but I don't think I need to go through the whole thing again, okay? You can always look it up if you want to, look at whatever section that was from. There you go. So that was number 12, and you will have a problem that looks something like that, all right? So you will have just one problem like that. All right. Let's see. On that first page, on page 61, let's see. Today in class, in third period, I did number 6. I did number 7. I did 10 and 11. We just finished doing 12, and I did 14. All right. 1 through 4, we kind of talked about that yesterday with the quiz. I didn't really go over 1 through 4 today. But we went over it yesterday when we went over the quiz, so I think that should be good for that. All right, let's flip it over to page 62. Flip over the worksheet. Let's do 16 and 17. Now, I did 16 already in the other class, but 17's kind of part of the same picture, so I'll just do them both. So let me draw out the picture here. So looks like this. That goes down like that. This slants just a little bit like that. This one goes like that, and this one goes something like that. Alright, that looks pretty good. So let's label it. Let's C, G, B. This is E where they all come together. This is point D down here, A and F. All right, there's the picture. Now let's look at now you should have that worksheet out in front of you. Okay, if you look at the instructions, it says in the figure, ray EA and ray EB are opposite rays. So where's EA? EA is this one, going that way, right? EB is this one. If they're opposite rays, what does that mean about this thing right here? Just means it's a what? It's just a straight line. Yeah, it's just a line. It means it's straight. It's not bent or anything. Okay, it means it's just a nice straight line. All right, so that's all that means. So really, the first part of that, you could just kind of looked at it and figured, yeah, it looks straight to me, so it is. All right. Where am I? Oh, there we go. Here's the important part. It says ray EC. Let me actually make this a different color. That's ray EC. Look what it says. It says it does what? What's the word? Anybody looking at the worksheet? This is number 16, right above number 16. It's in bold. You should have your worksheet. Somebody tell me what it says. Ray EC does what? Bisects. It's an important word. What does it mean to bisect? What does it mean for a ray to bisect an angle? Splits it in half. Splits it into 2 equal angles. Exactly right. All right. It bisects what? FEG. So look at this. This is FEG. Everybody see that? And that ray, that red ray right there, it bisects that big angle. So what must be true about this angle here and this angle here? They equal each other, right? If it bisects it, it means they're equal to each other. So this angle and this angle right there have got to be equal to each other. That makes sense, doesn't it? So you got to know what the word bisect means. It doesn't just go in between somewhere. It goes right in the middle of them. All right? Now let's look at number 16. Number 16 says, change colors here. Number 16 says, find the value of x. All right, so we're solving for x. Find the value of x if angle FEG is 82 degrees. FEG is equal to 82 degrees. And they also say that angle FEC is equal to 5x plus 11. All right, this is what I do. This is exactly what I would do if I was solving the problem on my own, okay? And nobody was watching me. I wasn't teaching the class. If this is exactly how I was solving the problem, this is exactly what I would do. FEG, where's FEG? That's this whole big angle right there, isn't it? Okay, it's equal to 82 degrees. So right off the bat, we know this red one bisects that big angle. If the whole angle is 82, what do you think you know already about this angle right here? Well, they're equal to each other. They're the same thing, but give me an actual number. Michael? Michael, say it. Not 2. This angle right here, from here to here, FEC. If the whole thing is 82, what's this one right here? Justin, tell me. It's 41. Right? How'd you get 41, Justin? You divided by 2. That's right. You took 82 and you divided by 2, right? You took half of 82, which is 41. So this is 41, and so is that one, isn't it? Everybody see that? Now, look what they tell you. They tell you that angle FEC is 5x plus 11. Let's find FEC. Where is that one? FEC. That's this 41 right here. And they tell you that that angle right there is 5x plus 11. So how in the world, what are you trying to do? You're trying to find x, aren't you? What in the world do I do with this situation now that I know that 5x plus 11 is the same as 41? What do I do with this? Just set them equal to each other. Exactly right. Everybody watching this? A lot of heads are down. All right. I hope this is helping you out tomorrow on the test. So somehow, I can't feel sorry for you. All right. So it is what it is. If you want to put your head down, you just feel free. All right. So 5x plus 11 is equal to 41. So let's do that. So 5x plus 11 equals 41. And now, and why did I set them equal to each other? Because they're the same angles, aren't they? FEC is 41 degrees and FEC is 5x plus 11. They're the same angles, so I set them equal to each other. And now let's go ahead and solve for x. Subtract 11 from both sides, and what's that? 30. Divide by 5, x is 6. And that's the question. They say just find x. That's all they ask for, is to find x. It's that easy. It's not so hard, is it? But look what I did to the picture. I marked it up, though, didn't I? I put little angles. It said this bisected. So the first thing I did, I see that little red arc right there and the red arc right there. That's the first thing I did to show myself, to show me when I'm looking at it that those two angles are equal to each other. I don't just try to do this in my head. I don't just look at the numbers and say, okay, well, just set them equal. I don't know. I mean, because they could have added up to equal something, right? Don't just be so quick to just set things equal to each other. Make sure that they actually are. So the whole thing was 82. So that's what I did. I marked it, didn't I? Put an arc there, stuck 82 right there, so I see that's 82. As soon as I saw that was 82, I knew that this has got to be 41, and this has got to be 41. They told you this was equal to 5x plus 11. You set them equal to each other. Bang, x is 6. We good? Hopefully that makes a little sense to you. Good. So you'll see something like this on the test tomorrow. So that's what I'm trying to go through here. Let's do number 17. Try to slide 17 about right here. All right, look at 17. It says angle AED. They kind of tell you what angle AED is. So angle AED is equal to 16y plus 10. 16y plus 10. It says find the value of y. So they say find y this time. So that ED is perpendicular to AB. All right, let's take a look at it. It says ED and AB are perpendicular. Where's ED? This up and down one right here, isn't it? And AB is the one that goes across. If they're perpendicular to each other, they form a what? A right angle. So that must be a right angle right there. Everybody see that?
Yes.
All right. And what about this angle right here? It's going to be a right angle as well, right? See it? So if this is right because they add up to 180. 180 minus 90 is 90. So this angle right here is 90 degrees. Look what they tell you, though. They tell you angle AED. Because how in the world can I solve for x? Or, sorry, y. How can I solve for y? Well, I look at AED. AED is this right angle right here. We did one like this yesterday on the quiz, didn't we? We went over one like this. So this is 90 degrees, but it's also what? 16y plus 10. And I'm trying to solve for y. So 16 plus y, or 16y plus 10, what's that equal to? It's equal to 90 degrees. So guess what we're going to do? We're just going to set it equal. 16 plus y, I keep saying that. Why do I say that? 16y plus 10 is equal to 90. And now you set them equal to each other, which we did. You solve for x. Let's see what we get. Solve for x. Solve for y. I'm making all kinds of mistakes. Minus 10, which is 80. Divide by 16. I think that's 5, isn't it? So y is equal to 5. And there's your answer right there. That's all they ask for. They say find x and then find y. You will have something like this on the test tomorrow. So be ready for that. All right? Does that help? You guys have a pass or anything?
No.
Where'd you come from?
Choir.
Choir. All right, let's take a look at another one. Let's look at, I'm looking at 18 to 21. You're really not going to have anything that difficult on the test. All right, I didn't put anything like that on there. Trying to think off the top of my head what was on there. Let's do, let's take a look at 22. We talked about this yesterday. Let's see if I can draw this thing. Polygon. Oh my, it's big. Is that 6 sides? Good, that's perfect. All right, watch this. What if I said this was true? And you'll have a couple like this actually on the test. Should be pretty easy, very quick, shouldn't take you long at all to come up with the answers like this. All right, look at it. What's it say? It says name the polygon by its sides. What does it mean to name the polygon by its sides? Tell what it is. Right, give me a specific name for this. So how many sides does this thing have? 6 sides. So what's the name of a 6-sided figure? It's a hexagon, so you need to know that. You have to know that. What if it was 5 sides? What would it be? A pentagon. What if it was 8 sides? What would it be? Octagon. What if it was 10 sides? Decagon. What if it was 3 sides? Trigon? How about triangle? What about 4 sides? What we call if it's 4 sides?
Rectangle.
Quadrilateral would be more. Do you say that? Okay. So quadrilateral, unless if all the sides and all the angles were equal to each other, then you could call a 4-sided figure a what? A square. Okay, but that's the only time. All right? But look at this. So this is a hexagon. So that's one part of this. There's 3 parts to this answer, aren't there? It says name it first. So I named it hexagon. Then it says tell whether it's convex or concave. Which one is this one? It's convex. That's right, because if I extended all the sides, none of them would go through the polygon. You see that? So if I took each of the sides and extended them out, none of the sides would go inside the polygon. That means it's convex. All right, the third part of this, tell whether it's regular or not regular. You got 2 choices. What is it? How do you know it's regular? No, that was convex and concave. Why is it regular or not regular? Okay, all the same length. That's half of it. All the sides are the same length, and then what else? All the angles. The angles, right. All the angles are exactly the same. So if all the sides are equal and all the angles are equal, then it's what? It's regular. Okay? If all the angles and all the sides were not equal to each other, that would be not regular or irregular. Let me just try to draw. I'm going to try. Look at that crazy thing. All right. Let's go through this. Let's go through the same three things. Tell the name of it. What's name this polygon? It's a how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a hexagon as well, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, convex or concave? It's concave because look, see how it kind of points in towards the center or in towards itself? Because if I extended that side, look where it would go. It would go inside, wouldn't it? If I extended this side, it would go inside. So that would be concave. Is it regular or not regular?
Irregular.
It's irregular or non-regular, whatever you want to call it, not regular, because all the angles and all the sides are not equal to each other. So we would say that it is not regular. Now that should just take you a matter of a few seconds. Would you agree?
Yeah.
On the test? Now look, I purposely put about, if I remember right, I think I counted yesterday too, around 7 or so, maybe 8, I'm not really sure, around 7 problems where you didn't really have to do any math. All you had to do was look and write down an answer. That's almost half of the problems on your test. All right? And they should only take just a matter of just a few seconds. If you don't know what these words mean, it's going to take you longer. All right? I'll tell you this. Everybody listening to me? The test tomorrow, you will be limited to the class time unless you're in resource room and you have, it's written on your files that you can take longer, okay? But that's the only people that can take longer, okay? And I don't even deal with that. The resource room will deal with that, okay? But if you're taking the test in here, you have to finish by the time class is over. So you can't look at me and say, oh, I still got a few more to do. I need more time. Nope. You're limited to the amount of time that you have in class. Does everybody understand that? I'm telling you right now, and I'm sticking to it. So I don't want to hear a lot of sad cases. You got to keep track of the time. Do the problems that are easiest first. Do the ones that are fastest, quickest first. The ones you just have to look at. You don't have to go in order. The nice thing about this answer sheet, the way it is you don't have to do number 1 first and number 20 last. You can go out of order and it's still, you got those blocks right there. So do the ones that are easiest first. Save the ones that take longer towards the end. All right? Do the ones that you can do quick and easy, do those first. If you don't finish, remember, you always have the next day to do corrections. So that's the nice thing about doing corrections. All right? Let's take a look at number 24. So let's look at 24. Now look, I was really disappointed on the quiz. And in fact, we may even do the one on the quiz as well. But I was kind of disappointed because I really thought that we covered this pretty good. These aren't near as hard as what you guys are making them. Some of you guys are not even trying it. You're just writing down some nonsense answer. All right? At least try to do some. I think we even talked about this yesterday. That supplementary, complementary thing. Yeah, we went over this yesterday. Well, I'm going to do it again. This is number 24. It says 2 angles. Angle 1 and 2. Oh, actually, no, that's not even the one. No, that's not even the one that's going to be on the test. So 24, sorry, it's not on the test. That's actually pretty easy, though. 2 angles, 1 and 2 are supplementary. So watch, if I have 2 angles, this is angle 1, this is angle 2. Okay, it says if angle 1 is an acute angle, what does angle 2 have to be? It's got to be obtuse. It's got to be. It has to be. You can't have 2 acute angles being supplementary. Why not? Somebody explain that to me. Why can you not have 2 acute angles being supplementary?
Because they both want to add up 90 degrees.
They, not 100, 180. Right. That's right, because you can't have 2 angles that are both less than 90 adding up to be 180, can you? No, it's impossible. You can't do that. So this has to be obtuse. All right. That won't be on the test, though. Let's see what else. Oh, let's run through some of these. What if I told you, this is not actually from the worksheet. I'm just going to make this up. What if I said find the circumference of a circle, okay? If the radius was, I'll just make it up, 4, okay? Find the circumference of a circle if the radius, the length of the radius is 4. Well, it's not hard to do if you know the formula. What is it, John? Well, it is, but say it in general, though, without the 4. Circumference is equal to what? 2 pi r, right. This is something you have to have memorized. I don't know how many times I have to tell you this. I told you this many, many times before the quiz, and still, people are just Just killing this problem. I don't understand why. It's just a matter of memorizing a formula. So look. So circumference is 2 times pi times, in this case, it's what? It's 4. If you wanted to, 2 times 4 is 8. You could just keep it 8 pi if you wanted to. Or you could stick this into a calculator and get whatever that is. 8 threes are what? 24. So it's like 24 point something, maybe 25 point something. I don't know. All right. But you could just keep it 8 pi if you wanted to. I'd give you credit. In fact, I think one person out of both classes, when they did the circumference, they kept it like this. And that was fine. You don't have to put it into a calculator. You could keep it like that, and that'll be fine. You'll get it right. What if I ask for the area of a circle? We'll keep the radius being 4 just for fun. What if I ask you to find the area of the circle? You got to know what the formula for area is. What's the formula for area? It's pi r squared. This is one you have to have memorized. Now, the volume ones, remember when we did volume of all like the cylinders and the prisms and all that kind of stuff? I will give you one like that on the test, but I will give you the formula though. Okay, so I give you the formula. All you got to do is just plug the numbers into the formula and get the answer. Okay, so I give you one like that, and I give you the formula. I don't give you like a whole list of them. I give you the formula that fits the figure that I ask for. Okay, so it makes it really easy. But this right here, this must be memorized. All right, so if I have this problem on the test, you need to memorize this formula, and you need to memorize this formula as well. Okay, so what if the radius was 4? What do? It's pi 4 what? Squared. We only square the radius. You don't square the pi. Again, I've seen people do that. See, people square both of them. You don't. Only square the radius. So what would this be? What's 4 squared? 4 squared. 16, not 8. It's not multiplied by 2. It's squaring. Multiplied by itself. So it's 16 what? Pi. If you wanted to keep it like that, it's perfectly fine. I don't mind if you keep your answer like that, 16 pi. If you want to put it into a calculator, feel free to do that as well, and whatever that is. I don't know what that is. It's probably like 50 point something. All right? Make sense? It's pretty easy, isn't it? Oh my goodness. What about a triangle? I was like, I was so frustrated. You just don't understand what it's like. You don't understand what it's like for a teacher that teaches you things over and over and over again, and then you just kill it. What? Yes, for a triangle. Okay, look. I don't know. Does anybody got the quiz out in front of them? I forget what the numbers are. It doesn't matter. 16. Well, let's say it's 16, and let's say this right here is, I don't know, 10. All right. So watch this. If I asked you for the area of this thing right here, what kind of figure is this thing right here? It's a triangle, isn't it? It's a triangle. You must memorize. I had people putting pi in here. When's the only time you use pi? When you do circumference and area of a circle. Pi is only used when you're dealing with circles. Everybody hear me? Apparently not, because I've said this before, and still people are trying to use pi with a triangle. Some people just left it blank. Come on, guys. This is something you learn like in 5th grade, and you probably learn every year after that. You probably learned it in Algebra 1 and pre-algebra and your basic math classes in middle school. All right? It's 1/2, and you learned it in here, for goodness sakes. Even if you didn't learn it before, you learned it in here, okay? Or at least you were taught it. Put it that way. So it's 1/2 what? The base times the height. It's 1/2. So many people. I can't believe how many people just went base times height. This is a triangle. A triangle is half of the rectangle. So it's half the base times the height. So it's 1/2. The base is 10. The height is 16. All right? You can do it anyway. 160. Half 160 is 80. So that's your area of the triangle. So many people didn't do the half. You got to have the half right there if it's a triangle. I don't even know if I have that one on the test or not, but just in case, there you go. All right? All right, so that's it. We covered everything. If you have questions on the stuff that we did not cover, look at the 3rd period class on YouTube and look at those, because I did exactly what I did today, just with different problems. All right, so make sure you look at that. Be ready for the test tomorrow, please. Be studied up. Be prepared.